What if you were labeled the problem or difficult child? I was in a social setting the other day, and I listened to somebody talk about how you're always going to have the difficult child. Are you? Is that actually true? Or is there a deeper, much deeper element and dynamic to all of this? Healthy childhoods consist of healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation. Unhealthy, survival-based childhoods consist of fight, flight, freeze, fawn. The difference between a healthy childhood and an unhealthy childhood is that in a healthy childhood, the child is actually given space to develop as themselves. They are loved, accepted, validated, and approved of for who they are. And then they are taught by their parents that are emotionally healthy how to do that for themselves. In a survival-based childhood, you're born into a system with exceedingly fucked up and dysfunctional dynamics where you learn fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And then if you're even unluckier, you are labeled the problem or difficult child. Why? Well, because who the fuck actually wants to do things that they don't want to do? Who the fuck just gives in to doing things that they don't want to do? Oh, they're the problem child. They're the difficult child. Are they? Or are you just violating the shit out of their boundaries and pressuring them in exceedingly fucked up ways to do things that they don't want to do? Oh, tough shit. That's just the way that it is. That's how our parents did it to us. Right. I've heard that many times. And it all leads back to the same bullshit of intergenerational fucked upness. If you are going to be a parent and you're going to have at least one child, I think that every parent should be obligated to learn, one, how to be a fucking healthy individual. It's first and foremost. Secondly, they should also learn about the model of the id, the ego, and the superego in Freudian psychology, in psychoanalytic theory. Because if you don't know that what you're getting into is dealing with an id when your child is first born, which is usually chaotic because it is very much entirely based around life or death, all or nothing, black or white dynamics. So if you look at an infant and you're like, why is this infant so destructive? Because it is in the id phase, and only id. And id does not go away. But if you do it in a healthy way, it transforms into a healthier individual with a healthier ego state and a superego and all of that balance. But that's a whole other thing. I mean, it's applied to this, of course, but the focus here is understanding the reality of what a person learns when they are labeled the problem child, the difficult child. Is there actually such a thing as a problem or difficult child? Oh, you're always going to have the difficult child, but are you really? Or is your perception of that, and with that, your behaviors and actions in regards to your perception of that, actually the problem and actually fucking up the child? It's very interesting how all of this works. What exactly is a problem or a difficult child? Well, let's look at it from a unhealthy survival-based childhood dynamic, because this would not exist in a healthy childhood. A healthy parent, again, no parent is perfect. No child comes out of childhood without some level of trauma, some level of marring and scathing. But a healthy parent would not look at their child and be like, oh, that's the problem child. That's the difficult child. No, that doesn't exist at all. In the healthy childhood, the child is given healthy boundaries. It is allowed to and encouraged to individuate and differentiate. It's not seen as a problem or difficult. But to the parent that is emotionally immature, emotionally unhealthy, in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, where the child's boundaries are being violated left and right, where the child is learning a role to play in the family system rather than developing a healthy ego state that leads to healthy self, healthy individuality. The child is learning to conform to a fucked up system. And when it doesn't conform, it is labeled as the problem child, the difficult child. Hey, why don't you just get in line and do as you're told? Because it doesn't fucking want to. Because its intuition is trying to teach it that whatever it's being told to conform to is fucked up. And then guess what? That child is learning to not listen to its intuition. Because it's being gaslighted. It's being told that whatever it wants to do, it shouldn't do. And it's just fucked up. In my honest opinion, with everything that I've learned, there's no such thing as an actual problem or difficult child. What there is such thing is an unhealthy childhood with survival-based dynamics, fight, flight, freeze, fawn. A child is being brought into that. It has its own wants and needs, but the family system, the fucked up family system, is demanding other from it. Because the family system lacks healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation. In other words, enmeshment. You have to play a role in this fucked up enmeshed dynamic. You will not be acknowledged otherwise. And that's the reality of this. And so then when you hear people say, oh, there's always going to be the problem child, there's always going to be the difficult child. Yeah, in a fucked up family system, that doesn't have healthy boundaries, that doesn't allow for the children to individuate and differentiate. And then you see these children grow into adolescence and adulthood, and you see them display different symptoms and behaviors, and then you say, what the fuck is wrong with that person? Oh, I fucking wonder. Yeah, they got a whole lot of marring and scathing. They were pressured to do things that they didn't want to do. And it fucked them up. They were never a problem. They were never difficult. They were just born into a fucked up system that had other plans for it. It's really fascinating to see everything for what it is, to question the shit out of everything, to deeply analyze dynamics, to deeply analyze words and meanings. Oh, problem child, difficult child? What do you mean by that? Oh, well, they wouldn't do what I told them to do. What did you tell them to do? Oh, I told them to be more responsible for different things pertaining to adults. Yeah, that's not healthy. It's called boundary violations. At the age of 5? Really? Yeah, at the age of 5, they're supposed to be individuating and differentiating, not worrying about their fucking family system that lacks healthy boundaries. It's sad. It really is sad. And then they're gaslighted later on, or maybe even at that time in their life, to be led to believe that, oh, they're defective. There's something wrong with them because they are the problem child. They're the difficult one. Why can't you just do X, Y, and Z? Because I fucking can't, Karen, because I don't fucking want to. Because right now I'm supposed to be learning healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation. And by the way, yes, I used the name Karen for the specific reason of the name Karen, because we all, well, I can imagine that many of us know what that name refers to. It is very sad to see children go throughout their entire fucking lives believing that they're fucked up because they were labeled the problem child, the difficult child. And it's not the reality of it. You were just born into a dysfunctional family system that wanted you to get in line rather than providing you with healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation. It's fucking sad. It happens all the time. So just to make it very clear, looking at it from a healthy, an emotionally healthy perspective with the understanding of healthy boundaries, individuation, and differentiation, there's no such thing as a problem child. There's no such thing as a difficult child. What there is such thing as a family system with parents that lack healthy boundaries, lack individuation, lack differentiation. They are, no judgment, but they are emotionally immature. They are emotionally underdeveloped. They have a plan for you, and it's not healthy because it violates the shit out of your boundaries. And then when you do not conform to their plan, you are labeled the problem child, the difficult child. Oh, well, we brought you here to play this role. I didn't ask to come here. You ever see somebody like vomit neurotic guilt onto somebody and be like, we sacrificed so much? Karen, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for you to sacrifice a fuck ton for me. Shit. You know, it's like, it's just, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. So if you were labeled the problem or difficult child, understand that you were likely raised in a system of survival, with enmeshment, with fight, flight, freeze, fawn. You were expected, without any consent on your end, you were expected to conform to at least one role in this fucked up system. And if you did not conform, if you listened to your intuition and your intuition told you no, but you did it anyway, and you learned to silence your intuition, you conformed, even though you didn't want to, and you were still labeled a fucking problem or difficult child. See it for what it is. You were not actually a problem or difficult child. You were just raised in a fucked up family system.